Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2025 Jazz and Powers Gala. Woo, that's exactly right. I love the enthusiasm. My name is Jacob Campos, and I'm honored to be your host and MC tonight as we celebrate the life-changing power of jazz. And if you're a parent in the house, can you give a woo or something right now? That's exactly right. You've witnessed the life-changing power of jazz already in your lives, and I'm so excited for you to see your kids perform and to see what they could be like when they grow up when they see these musicians tonight. We have a great night of music ahead. Here's a quick look of what you can expect. We're going to kick things off with the Jovan Quallo Quintet performing the timeless music of Hank Mobley. Then we're going to be treated to the inspiring student performances from the East End Prep and Explore Community Charter School. After that, our keynote speaker, Diego Andres Vasquez Landeros, will share his story and perform with Jovan's band. And finally, we'll close the night with an unforgettable jazz session featuring our student musicians and the band. So for those who may be new to us, Jazz and Powers is a national nonprofit. It's not just local, based right here in Nashville, Tennessee. The program starts and supports jazz programs in underserved schools. It reaches over 10,000 students in 420 schools in the country. Tonight, you will see firsthand how jazz can perform live, and you'll have the choice to partner with us to bring jazz to even more students. You can support our students tonight by donating throughout the night. You're going to see QR codes in your programs and on your tables that you can use your phone app for. Help your parents or anybody else if they need some help with those apps. Make sure they can get in there. And then our goal tonight, I hope everybody's hearing this, our goal for tonight is to raise $3,000. So we're going to try to raise $3,000 just tonight. Every single dollar is used toward improving the jazz programs in Jazz and Powers. So please help us tonight as we're on a mission to transform young lives through jazz education, and you can be part of that story. You already are part of the story since you're here tonight as part of one of these events where our kids get to show off. And then don't forget about our silent auction. Our silent auction's going to be over to the side of the stage around the corner. With a lot of different options. You can take lessons from a professional poker player. You can get a family portrait package from Boulay Portraiture, a local honey spa package, Nashville Symphony tickets, and a college exploration and coaching package. So any parents, if you're wanting to get your child some coaching in as they're getting ready for college, it's a great option for you right there. Food and drinks are available at the bar or from the other QR codes from the venue at your tables. Can we all give a big round of applause for our venue, Analog, for hosting us tonight, for donating this space to us? I want to make sure to recognize our sponsors tonight. If you're in the house, please stand up or wave or give some acknowledgement from First Citizens Bank, one of our sponsors. Are you in the house tonight? Thank you, First Citizens Bank. The Nashville Predators, go Preds. They're supporting us. Make sure you buy your tickets because they help jazz programs. The Daddario Foundation. Anybody here from Daddario? Awesome. Now, I'll be back shortly, but to kick things off, please join me in welcoming the Jovan Quallo Quintet, featuring Jovan on tenor sax, Emmanuel Etcham on trumpet, Alex Murphy on piano, Rob Linton on bass, and Marcus Finney on drums. Yeah.
Anybody get hurt? Everyone all right? Good evening. My name is Jovan Quallo. Thank you, Jazz and Powers, for having us this evening. You are listening to Emmanuel Etchem on trumpet, Alex Murphy on piano, Rob Linton on bass, Marcus Finney on the drums. So as Jacob previously mentioned, we're going to be playing some music from the library of Hank Mobley for you all this evening. I was fortunate enough to do a project with the Nashville Jazz Workshop to kind of do a overview of Hank Mobley, his life and his music. And through that project, I've kind of amassed a nice catalog of his stuff. So we're going to play some of that for you guys tonight. First tune you heard was entitled Split Feelings off of his most celebrated work, Soul Station. Next record we're going to play for you is a tune called Soft Impressions off the record Straight No Filter, which is kind of a hodgepodge record he put together over 2.5 years with 4 different bands and 4 different sessions. So depending on what track you're listening to a completely different band, but everything is from the pen of Hank Mobley. This is Soft Impressions.
about that Jovan Quallo, correct? Quallo Quintet. So one thing I want you all to notice tonight when you listen to this fantastic ensemble is there's a lot more going on than what meets the eye, right? There's a lot of communication between the members as they're looking at each other and the way they're listening. There's a lot of shades and colors and a great word to use on a date, nuance. You know, like if you use, that's a fancy word you can use. That's a lot of those skills are the things that kids need to be learning in school. I for one, I was a band director for 12 years down in Franklin, Tennessee. And so I get it. I get what music education can do for kids. And I know that life is a lot more than bubbling in C. A lot of those things that our kids learn, while they're fantastic, things like music, teamwork, can help build skills that you just can't replace on standardized testing. I know it's that week, so sorry, kids. Thank you for being here during standardized testing. Can we give it up for the kids for being here when they got to go to, like... I don't think I would pass the 5th grade one, but... here we are. If you're just joining us, my name's Jacob, and I'm your host tonight for the 2025 Jazz Empowers Gala. Tonight, you're going to hear a lot of great stories about what Jazz Empowers has been doing for kids across the country. Jazz Empowers is a nonprofit that's based here in Nashville, but it serves underserved schools that don't have music programs. Right now, it currently serves over 10,000 students in 420 schools in America. That's amazing. You've been hearing the quintet thus far. Later, you're going to hear performances from East End Prep and Explore Community School. Yes, they're up there in the balcony suite. The kids, they look great up there. And then you're gonna hear from our keynote speaker, Diego Andres Vasquez Landeros. And then you're gonna have a jam session with all the students and the quintet later tonight. I want to make sure that we, again, thank our sponsors from the evening, like First Citizens Bank, the Nashville Predators Foundation, the Dario Foundation, and you've heard enough of me talk. Let's continue on with the Jovan Quallo Quintet. Thank you.
So that last tune is entitled Venus de Mildew. We actually cheated a little bit. That is not a Hank Mobley tune. That is actually a tune written by Wayne Shorter, but Wayne Shorter never recorded it. The first known recording of this tune is actually by Hank Mobley. So I wanted to include it for that reason. Next tune we're going to play for you is High Modes, which inversely is a Hank Mobley tune that Hank Mobley never recorded, but Wayne Shorter's got the recording on it. So I wanted to kind of showcase both composers playing each other's music, never having recorded the music themselves. This is High Modes. One more time for Emmanuel Etcham, Alex Murphy, Rob Linton, and Marcus Finney. Once again, my name is Jovan Quallo. Thank you so much for Jazz and Powers for having us back to do this. I was actually one of the very first Jazz and Powers teachers, like 10 years ago, so it's really cool to kind of come back in the full circle moment and play for you guys tonight. We're going to do a very quick one last tune. We got to feature our drummer before we get out of here, so here is Up, Over, and Out.
Can we give it up again for the Jovan Quallo Quintet? You're going to get some more of them later tonight as they perform with some of our student musicians. Thank you guys for letting the students come up and play with you later. That's huge for students to get to play with professionals and see what that's like later. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the parents in the room. You haven't even seen the kids yet, but I think it's important. If you're a parent, can I get a whoop whoop or something in the room again? That's awesome. So parents, I know, like I said, I was a music teacher before. It is a crazy world we are raising kids in right now, right? It's an insane time. And so one thing I used to brag about, like with the marching band at my schools, I would say like, well, you should put your kids in band because you know where they are for the next 6 hours. And you know what they're up to. And I'm just so proud of you and just amazed by the kind of parents that put their kids in programs like these jazz programs because they know that it's building them for the future. Here's some cool things that you may not think about. You always hear, hopefully, that music improves your test scores, that students who stay in music, every year they stay in music, they have a higher likelihood of graduating and finishing a degree in college. But some other things you might not think about. In a world with tons of influences from social media and everything else, your students learn to cooperate with others a lot better when they're in music education. Because sometimes you know when it's time to just play the triangle for yourself and for the group, and you know it's time to give away the attention to somebody else, right? You know how to let somebody have the solo, let somebody else moment to shine. One other skill that I think is really important that these kids learn is they become resilient against failure. There's nothing like watching a child come to class and they mess up their G-flat scale. I wonder how many students right now know their G-flat scale. Who can do it? Okay. So, yeah, we're not there yet, right? They're younger kids. But there's B-flat, that's right. So, hey, there's nothing like that. There's something really intimate about performing music and feeling like you're failing. So, and then overcoming that and being better. Again, if you're just joining us tonight, this is the gala, the 2025 gala for Jazz Empowers. Jazz Empowers, thank you so much. We're about to hear how Jazz Empowers is affecting other students in the country at Cy High School in New Orleans. So there's going to be, in New Orleans, if you don't know, history-wise, is the birthplace of jazz in America. That's where it all started. So we're going to watch a little video from Cy High School. I know it can sound cheesy at times when you say this, but I believe that's how America's changed for the better. It starts with small groups of people doing really important, close-knit work together, and then it just keeps growing from there. So that school is part of our charter school residency program, which brings full-scale jazz programs to schools that otherwise wouldn't have a music education. And they're made possible by the money and the funds that we raise tonight and all throughout the year and other supporters. So keep sharing the good news throughout the year about Jazz Empowers. And those students, they would never have had an opportunity in the way that their schools work to be in part of a music program prior to that. So next up, we're going to have a little speech from the director of Jazz Empowers. He's the founder and executive director. He doesn't know I was going to say this, but Andrew Johnston was my roommate in college at DePaul University. And I was in his wedding, so we've been friends a long time. Now, I want to tell you guys, he mentioned this senior year of college. Andrew is just an amazing person. He's filled with the kind of love that Jesus has. I'm telling you this. We were in college. He could have tried to become a world-famous trombonist. But in our little dorm, literally under his bed, stacked on every side around his room, was piles of instruments. And his little Dell laptop he was on, he was like, how does this logo look? Which name? Do you want to call it the Jazz Project? Do you want to call it this? He had all these different names. And I remember when I first got to him, I was like, that's pretty cool. I hope this project turns out really well. And it's when he first started to think about Jazz Empowers. And I remember for like the first 2 years, he was just in one school that was him. And then he became the jazz band director at my high school. And then he got some other teachers involved, and it grew to like 4 schools. Now think about that. Just a dream of a 21-year-old kid in college. And now, one of my best friends ever, it got me a little bit, he's in 420 schools. Can we give it up for the director of Jazz Empowers, Andrew Johnston?
All right, thank you, Jacob. Appreciate that. So yeah, like Jacob said, I'm the founder and executive director at Jazz Empowers. I'm just got some quick words I'm going to say before we hand it over to some of our student performers. First, I just want to thank everybody for coming out and supporting our students and just believing in the power of music to change lives. A special thank you to our incredible gala chair, Harmony Duke, and all of our dedicated board directors. They're all throughout the room tonight, even some former board members. Really appreciate your dedicated leadership and commitment. I'd also like to recognize our school partners, especially Miss Bodie and Miss Barbas from the 2 middle schools that are about to perform. Let's give them a hand of applause. Definitely takes a team effort to figure out schedules for jazz band, make sure all the students get here. We couldn't do it without all of the school support. Want to thank our incredible staff, Danny Fernandez, Brooke Lawrence, and all of our passionate instructors who teach our students every day. Especially a big shout out to Sophia Goodman, who's the jazz band director for both the East End Band and the Explore Jazz Band. And of course, just want to thank our students, your hard work and creativity, courage to come up on stage is really empowering all of the people in the audience today. So let's give a round of applause for our students. And also just want to thank all the parents, because obviously we can't do anything with all the parents picking students up after school jazz bands, helping them make sure they're practicing throughout the week. Thank you all, parents. So now I'm just going to talk a little bit about Jazz Empowers. So we start and support jazz programs in underserved schools because we believe that learning jazz can really transform lives. Whether it's a 6th grade trumpet player finding the courage to play their first solo, or a high school senior going on to study music in college, we really have seen time again how music can really empower lives. And yet, despite all we know about its benefits, there are still way too many students in Nashville, in our country, that don't have the chance to learn music at their school. Across the country, there's over 1 million students that don't have the chance to learn music in their school. And in particular, only 40% of charter schools in the whole country have any type of music program. So we really tried to help bridge that gap here at Jazz Empowers and encourage other organizations and people to do the same. This year, we're serving 10,000 students, but it's always helpful to kind of hear the impact of one story. So we're going to tell a story quickly about our student Melinda in New York City. So she joined our jazz band in 2021. We were doing everything online during COVID. She was a 5th grade trumpet player and just had a lot of really natural talent, but was very shy. We went back to in-person. She would play in rehearsal, not really volunteer to raise her hand. But her jazz band instructor here, Danny Fernandez, who's in the back from New York City, saw more than just potential. He pushed her to grow not only as a musician, but as a person as well. And that transformation has been really remarkable. Melinda went on from sitting quietly in rehearsal to leading rehearsals as an 8th grader. She would help the students that were less experienced, take all the trumpet players, teach them together. And just to see that leadership develop over 4 years just kind of shows the impact that learning music and learning jazz can have on their lives. And now she's a freshman at LaGuardia High School of the Performing Arts in Manhattan, which is right next to Lincoln Center. So excited to see her growth. And she's also a member of our student council, which you'll hear from one of our other student council members later today, Diego. Really excited for you to hear Diego. He's going to talk about how jazz has impacted his life a little bit later today. He's going to come up on the bandstand and play with Jovan's band. I heard him during sound check, and they sound great. So it's going to be a really exciting time there. Last year, we celebrated our 10th anniversary of bringing jazz to students across the country. And thanks to your support, the support of donors, board members, teachers, families, and students, we've grown from serving 6,000 students last year to now 10,000 students. So yeah, let's give a round of applause for everybody involved that made that possible. Also, we just want to shout out a couple of bands that we've been supporting for a while, the Memphis Central High School Jazz Band and Celia Cruz Bronx High School Jazz Band. They'll be traveling to Jazz and Lincoln Center in New York in a couple weeks to perform at the Essentially Ellington Festival that takes some of the best high school jazz bands in the entire world, and they're competing against them. So really excited for that as well. And that just kind of just summarizes what we're trying to build here together as a team, not just, our teachers, our staff, but everybody involved, parents, donors, students. We're trying to build the power of change through jazz. But also just want to let everybody know that while we've seen a lot of progress, there's still way too many students without access to this opportunity. So in the year ahead, we're going to continue to expand. We'll keep on showing up, and we'll keep building programs in Nashville and beyond. And tonight, I'm just going to ask you if you're willing to join us in that push. Whether it's making a donation to help put a student instrument in a student's hand, or a silent auction bid, or even just applause tonight to help encourage our student performers. Everything that you do is going to make a huge difference helping us make that progress. Thank you again for being here and supporting our mission, and most of all, for believing in what's possible when we empower students through jazz.
Okay, now we're going to listen to our students play. That's the main thing we came for, right? You can wet your reeds now. I see you're already getting going there. Okay, so this is the East End Prep Jazz Band. That's right. This band rehearses twice a week after school and is under the direction of the drummer, band leader, and composer Sophia Goodman. She's their teacher. And some of these students just started playing in September. So you're watching the very beginnings of the journey. I think we forget sometimes that the journey has a beginning. And so the parents who are patient in their growth, that is so important. So take it away.
Thank you, thank you. Y'all give it up for Daryl and London, our soloists. All right, this next tune that we're doing is Blue Spring Shuffle.
Right now, the most important thing in the room are these kids who are starting to learn. This is Daryl. Daryl, what grade are you in?
I'm in 7th grade.
He's a 7th grader at East End. Obviously a fantastic trumpet player. Good job on your solos tonight. Okay, so Daryl, I want to know, what do you like about being in jazz band?
It's a big inspiration for me. I really like it. I like the solos, the music. It's really good. It's really good. That's what I like about it.
That's awesome. I love that, Daryl. So this is a deeper question I want you to think about. Okay, so we're going real deep here. How has jazz music and being a part of this impacted your life? Like, what does it mean for your person? How has it helped change you?
Well, it really impacted me by Winston Marsalis. It really changed me. He was my big inspiration, and he made me play like some of his music and some of his solos, and this is the reason why I'm in jazz band, so it's all because of him.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Give it up for Daryl from East End. Good job, Daryl. Thank you so much. What we're going to do now is we're going to welcome to the stage. They're ready to go. This is the Explorer Community Jazz Band. This is 6th through 8th grade students. They rehearse 4 days a week as a class, and they're also led by Miss Goodman.
Can everybody give a round of applause for East End Prep one more time? I didn't get to announce who the soloists were on the last tune. So we had Jason on the last tune, Andrea and Brandon. Can we just give them a round of applause? Thanks. So after this, we're going to play a couple songs, and after this, we're going to have some more talking, and then we're going to have a very special performance from one of our students who is coming in from Texas, right? One of our high school students. We flew him in. So, and then there's a jam. So everybody needs to stick around, please, to the very end tonight. And all right, band. I think are we ready? Okay, so we're gonna start with blues in B flat, and this tune's gonna feature Adley, Jazz, and Milo. Thank you, thank you. All right, the next tune we're gonna do is called "So What." Can anybody raise their hand if they've ever heard this tune before? It's one of the most famous jazz tunes out there by Miles Davis. Okay, and this one is going to feature Kyle and Paul. One more round of applause, especially for our soloists, Kyle and Paul. All right, y'all. Thank you very much. Good job. Good job to the bands. And we're going to keep Jazz up here.
All right, so can we give it up again for the Explore Jazz Band? Now, I think this was meant to be. So this young lady, I don't know if you caught, but her name is Jazz at the Jazz Empowers Gala. So that's incredible. Your parents have a great, they just had great foresight for success in your life. That's awesome. So what do you like about playing in jazz band, Jazz?
What I like about playing in jazz band is that like it gives me a freedom to like be more open and like excited for what I'm doing. For like every day in jazz band, it's not gonna always be the same, which is slightly glitching, which is what I'm used to. I'm used to like focusing and practicing on things, but also learning new things in between. So that solo that I played, I was freshly new to it, so that was something new for me.
That's amazing. They say the only constant in life is change, so like you're ready to go. You're ready to make the changes, right? That's a thing. That's actually a thing in jazz, you know, changes and stuff, if you know jazz. Okay, so how has jazz, the program, again, a deep question, how has it impacted your life?
It impacted my life because I'm not really a much person to like freestyle and be more like, I'm usually used to like learning notes. So for me to like freestyle and give you all my ideas right off the top of my head is something very new to me, which I used to be kind of nervous about. which is now something that, is natural for me now.
I think you also have public speaking in your future as well. I think you're going to be great at it. Can we give it up for Jazz from the Explorer Community Jazz Band? You're absolutely incredible. You have yourself a great night. Thank you again. We'll see you up here again when you perform in a minute. So isn't it amazing that 75% of those kids just picked up their instruments this year? So there's just a lot of learning happening through Jazz Empowers. But now I'm thrilled to introduce our keynote speaker. Now, a lot of conferences you go to, the keynote speaker is usually an old person, right? It's usually somebody who's super successful, maybe a millionaire who goes up there and is explaining how the business works. But in Jazz Empowers, who could best give a keynote speech for an event than a student of Jazz Empowers? Tonight we have Diego Andres Landeros Vasquez. Diego is a high school senior at John Jay Science and Engineering Academy in San Antonio, Texas. He is a passionate young saxophonist whose musical journey began in the small town of Kingsville. Initially set on a path toward engineering, Diego found his true calling in jazz after discovering Paul Desmond's iconic recording of Take 5. Since joining Jazz Empowers Student Advisory Council, he has grown tremendously as a musician, as a leader, and as a student, benefiting from mentorship and performance opportunities and educational support. Diego's story is a testament to the transformative power of music education. And this fall, he plans to pursue a degree in music production and engineering to continue his artistic journey. Please welcome Diego.
All right, good evening, everyone. So as you heard, my name is Diego Andres Vasquez Landeros. I'm a high school senior at John Jay Science and Engineering Academy in San Antonio. It's an absolute honor to be here amongst all of you, all you music educators and professionals who are educating the next generation of jazz musicians. Before I go any further, I want to extend my heartfelt congratulations to Jazz Empowers on 11 years of commitment to providing high-quality music education. Your efforts have changed countless lives, including mine. My journey into jazz is very unorthodox, as many others are. I grew up in Kingsville, Texas, a small rural town in South Texas. As a toddler, I wanted absolutely nothing to do with music. I did not want to play an instrument. My older sister was always practicing piano around me, and I was constantly being dragged to performances. And at the time, I saw music as an obstacle in my day-to-day life. I just wanted some peace and quiet and playing on my iPad, right? But as I grew older, I realized little by little my ear was developing as my sister was practicing around me. And music was becoming a central interest in my life, especially after witnessing the incredible opportunities it provided for her. By the 5th grade, I had already began searching for the instrument I wanted to play the following year in beginner band class. And one night, I stumbled upon the iconic 1964 recording of Paul Desmond, Dave Brubeck, Joe Morello, and Eugene Wright playing Take 5 live in Belgium. The sweet timbre of Desmond's tone captivated me instantly, and right then and there, I knew I wanted to play saxophone. So I tried learning that song. The fun fact, I tried learning that head before I even knew how to read accidentals, so of course that didn't really make sense. So fasting forward to my freshman year of high school, I had steadily improved over my first 3 years of band, and I had become a textbook classical 6A, classical saxophonist. You know how Texas is. And so I was pretty square. That was until I met my good friend Brian Yevis. He was a senior at the time, and he's a former Jazz Empowers council member. So through our friendship, he introduced me to the unpredictable world of jazz. And that same year, I auditioned for the Jazz Empowers Advisory Council, playing the only tune I knew, which was Take 5. Unsurprisingly, I did not get in. I had no idea how to swing at the time. But my sophomore year, I had improved some more, and Jazz Empowers took a chance on me, which, of course, altered my course of education for the better. Over the past 3 years, as a member of the Advisory Council, I have grown not only as a musician, but also as a student and a leader. I've become more organized, gained invaluable guidance from industry professionals, and learned how to navigate both my musical and academic aspirations. Through a scholarship provided by the council, I was able to attend the first annual Global Jazz Workshop in Austin with Chad L.B., Christian Wiggs, and Andre Hayward. I also obtained essential equipment for my musical journey, both of which are opportunities that would not have been possible without the support of Jazz Empowers. Interestingly enough, over 5 years back, I originally chose to attend the John Jay Science and Engineering Academy with the intent of pursuing a traditional engineering career, but over time it became evident that I wouldn't be happy in a profession that didn't involve music in some way. And every single council meeting without fail, I took the opportunity to ask for advice regarding college applications and potential career paths. And I'm proud to say that this fall, if all goes well, I will be taking the opportunity to pursue a degree in music production and engineering at the Berklee College of Music in Boston, Massachusetts. I would like to personally thank Mr. Andrew Johnston for all that you do, for seeing the need for this nonprofit organization and advocating for underserved communities. Your vision has changed the lives of so many students, including mine. And I would also like to thank Mr. Danny Fernandez, I see you back there, who has led all of my advisory council meetings. Without his guidance, I would have missed out on the incredible opportunity to connect with peers and established professionals across the country. Again, thank you to all for your time and your support and your unwavering commitment to making Jazz Empowers programs a reality. Your efforts truly make a positive difference in the world. And now to keep with tonight's theme, I'll be playing Hank Mobley's This I Dig of You alongside the incredible Jovan Quallo Quintet. Thank you. I hope you enjoy.
Can we give another big hand to Diego? Now we're gearing up for the big finish for the night. So our East End and Explorer students, we can welcome you back to the stage too, as we're all about to perform together. Something you just noticed from Diego's story. Diego, it was so amazing hearing your story with all of it, like your journey to get here. And that's what I really think sums up the night. It's a lot of journeys. From Andrew, when he was 21, thinking up Jazz and Powers in his like dorm room, not knowing that 10,000 kids later, and then some when you consider all the kids who've come before, right? It's 10,000 active students right now. How many students do you think it is total that have actually been impacted by this program? The students tonight, your journeys are just starting. You may grow up and be a jazz musician forever and play in a band like this as your full-time gig, but also you might become an astronaut. You might be a doctor, an engineer. Whatever your field is, you're learning a lot of those skills right now. Your journey has been proven to be successful. Congratulations, Diego, again on your acceptance to Berkeley. That's amazing. Yeah, let's give it up one more time. And so I hope this is inspiring to all of you about the journeys that these students can go on just by being a part of a music program in this team. I mean, it truly is a really incredible night. Don't you all agree? So as the students come up, they're getting ready to play Sunny Moon for Two by Sonny Rollins.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.